Life means to evolve. And if you're not evolving through small incremental changes that build up over time to create a large change, then you're probably dead. And that shouldn't really be a goal of anyone. I think every day I get up and I say, what are my priorities? And then I move towards that. And sometimes, honestly, my priorities are to see how many back-to-back episodes of whatever I'm watching on Netflix I can watch, if it's that kind of introvert's Sunday that I need, in order to be my best self out in the world Monday morning. And sometimes it's, how much of my to-do list can I crank through before lunch? A lot of the early accomplishments that I have made were because I didn't realize that there was an option. And there's actually a type of method for teaching. I also used to play the violin. And I was taught with the Suzuki method. And if you look up the Suzuki method, you have all of these little 4, 5, 6-year-olds that are playing violin concertos that are, far beyond what you would think somebody of that age should be able to do. And it's because nobody told them that they shouldn't be able to do that. And so that was basically my reality. I was told, well, you're 11, you're going to start going to college. So I went, and the expectation was you're supposed to get good grades, so I did. We all have to live in this society that's been created for us, and there's, certain expectations that one is a contributing member of the community of humanity, and that can be accomplished in many different ways. I think if I had a group of young people that I was responsible for, I would try and listen more than maybe my parents did to what each of them want. I certainly wouldn't try and mentor all of them, because you can't do that, right? But put them in situations where they can find people to emulate and to look up to and to ask the right questions of. Because the worst thing in the world is to have an inquisitive mind or to have questions and to not know the right people or have the right resources to get them answered. So the youthful brain is still plastic, it's still developing, and it's more susceptible to information in certain ways than in others. I'd use stories. I would use imaginative language and humor. But there's a certain amount of finishing that happens in those last few years in the early 20s, which is the full development of the prefrontal cortex, which is sort of responsible both for those our ability to think logically and to predict outcomes, and also maybe a little bit for us to project the negative outcomes as well, right? So optimism falls victim to reality. I went to New York and I trained at the Alvin Ailey School, which is a very well-known school of modern dance there in Manhattan, and I was going to be a dancer. But then there were sort of cracks in the facade a little bit. I wasn't quite fulfilled, and when you're a dancer, especially when you're a young dancer, you're treated as if you don't have a mind of your own. And you are simply a body, and the artistic director and the choreographer or the teacher is giving you the input, and you have to. And for someone that already had a bachelor's degree in biochemistry, that wasn't really satisfying, especially when they would make comments about biochemistry, like, don't eat too much turkey for Thanksgiving because then you'll fall asleep because tryptophan. Like, do you know how many turkeys you have to eat? But I digress. All I hope for women in STEM is that they stop worrying about whether or not they're fitting in and whether or not they are supposed to be emulating the men or making a point of being female, and they start just taking things, taking their power, taking their place at the table, and not asking permission for it. And we have all of these trailblazing women that have had to do that. They have had to take, and there are so many glass ceilings in academia, the ancient ivory tower that it is, and they are still there to be broken. But I think for the masses, since we're always trying to get women in STEM now and women in coding, and so I think of it as like, I hope this isn't offensive, like storming the beaches at Normandy. Like, we just put enough women into the pipeline, then the fact that it's so leaky won't be a problem, and we'll eventually get enough of them through to tenure track positions that there will start to be a positive feedback loop. And I think that for the masses, it can be very difficult to be at your best when you're constantly looking over your shoulder and wondering if being you is enough.